Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. And good morning, friends. Welcome to a moment with Mojax Happy. This is kind of the evolving new look for morning coffee because I'll be recording this through the night. Maybe I should call it through the night, but it's for you guys to wake up to in the morning. Thank you so much to everybody that joined me last night when I streamed for a little while through Instagram. I think I'll do that again tonight, around about 10 to 10:30. I quite enjoyed the informality of it, and that Cognac came on and said hello as well. And I invite anybody to come and join me just to say hello anytime they wish. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. I thoroughly enjoy your company as an audience and as friends. And that little friendship haiku affirmation is something that will be on here every day to remind you that Mojax Happy does care about you. That I do. I'm not speaking about myself in the third person. I am Mo to many of yous. I am something else away from here to my family, dad, husband, and I have a real name as well, and the real name is actually Murray, but please just call me Mo. This morning I have a couple of things I want to do. I want to try and have a little attack of the papers. You might hear a little buzz in the background from time to time. It's my son's phone going off with all his friends saying, are you coming to play on the Xbox? It's 3 a.m. and my dad is asleep and he doesn't know that I'm texting everybody around the world to play the Xbox. It happens. That's what being a teenager is all about. So yeah, I'm going to try a little experiment just now and see if I can manage to bring up some of the papers and talk about them with you. Before we jump into the papers though, I want to say that I will have a little surprise at the end of the show for you, a little reading of the prologue of a set of stories that I started to write about 14 years ago. I will talk more about them after we've done the papers. It's just something I want to share with you guys because I think it's important that I share my other creative side other than poetry, my creative writing side. Anyway, let's just jump straight into the papers, shall we? Okay, the Guardian starts us off this morning with the headline that the UK government is going to extend its furlough scheme. Now, if you don't know what the furlough scheme is, it is basically the scheme where employers can keep their employees on their books just now. They don't sack them, and they keep them on. So when they resume trading, they've got their employees still there. And the government will pay 80% of those employees' salaries. Now, this is a particularly amazing thing, and it was a surprise move by the government to extend this until October. I have to say that I am exceptionally pleased that they're doing this because it provides a little bit of job security for the people and also an exceptional financial security as well for going into the future and through the summer. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think we'll find that there's a big theme about this through the papers today, and we will see what else I've got to say. I've not actually looked at the headlines, and I'm recording this piece by piece. The Eye leads today with the 7.5 million workers in the UK currently on the furlough scheme not facing the cliff edge of no money over the summer. Like I said before, this is a remarkable thing that the government's doing. It's going to cost so much money to do it, but it's vital for it's a vital lifeline for everybody in Great Britain just now. The furlough scheme, it's a very positive thing, and you know something. I have never ever once questioned this paper. Looking at its cover, what the I stands for. Can you see anywhere on this what I stands for? Is it the Informer? It's not the Independent, because we have an independent newspaper called The Independent, funnily enough. But I've always wondered what the I stands for. The Information, the Informer, the Aegis. I don't know. Anyway, good headline, and you know these. I'm not triggered yet. I'm not been triggered once. I'm sitting here pre-recording this, and I have not been triggered once, and that's unusual for 2 papers in. The Daily Express continues the theme of this morning, going on about the furlough scream. The furlough scream. Yes, of course. It's this furlough scream. I can't scream that loud. It's like 4 a.m. here, and I'm making content. I am so I don't sleep. I'm an insomniac. My brain kind of tends to go off on one, and it's kind of gone off on one the past 48 hours. So yeah, it's a big sigh of relief. The Express is going on about, and it is, and I'm not going to dwell upon the papers like this as a whole for the things. I'm going to, if it's the same sort of headline, I'm going to continue on and just jump into the next one, which we'll do right now. Rishi goes bails out. Do you think that was supposed to be bazoot? 80 billion, the furlough scheme extension is going to cost the UK taxpayer. That's a crap load of money, to say the least. It really is. But Rishi bails out. Well, yeah, he's bailing us out, but he's also showing his true nature. He's getting his balls out. He's shown the world that he can do this. You know what? Good on him. Good on him. Finding the money somewhere or another. It's amazing that the Tories have found this magic money tree that never existed before. It was a magic tree, yeah, absolutely, but it was a wee bonsai tree, and they lost it in the greenhouse of number 10 Doonan Street's garden. Aye, that's what it was. It was in amongst the cabbages that were growing in a planter that were. Oh, yeah, nah, I don't think so. I'm quite impressed because so far I have not been triggered by anything yet, anything at all. But we're about to hit the Daily Telegraph, and I'm sure that will change. Oh yes, the headlines there clearly state that this is going to cost the economy £300 billion, and that we can expect a pay freeze, tremendous, and tax increases in the UK. This was inevitable, you know, and it kind of annoys the crap out of me, because why do we have to pay for it again? You know, why can't we do this age-old suggestion from me, about, you know, putting the pound back in the pocket of the consumer, because people will spend. You want to make the economy grow, all right? You turn round and you say to the Bank of England, fuck you, we're not paying this money back. They tried to put up interest rates. No, we're not going to pay that either. Okay, they tried to do hyperinflation. We go, no, that is not happening. The people are taking control of the economy through a sensible government. Okay, we're going to zero all the debt. Oh God, I can hear the economists having heart attacks just now as they hear this. But why not? Why can't we do that? Can you give me a clear example as to why we can't do that? A dispassionate, rational argument. Because I can't find one. Because if you turn around and say, well, there'll be hyperinflation, I'm going to counter that with, but why? Why would there be hyperinflation? Well, you have to pay the money back, Mo. Well, why? Why do we have to pay that money back? I don't get it. All we've done is just say, here, give us a loan of 20 quid to last us over the summer, and we will see what happens from there. But nah. It's not going to happen. It's going to come out of your pocket and my pocket, as per usual. It's an absolute disgrace. And if it wasn't 4 a.m, I'd probably be up and down pacing my hallway just now, going, "Oh, for God's sake!" But no, it's to me it's wrong. And there are better ways, and you can't argue. You'll never convince me that putting more money in somebody's pocket, like zeroing the loans, zeroing the mortgages, give everybody that fair playing field once again. Give them the opportunity, because they will go and remortgage, and they will refinance, and they will take out new loans. Okay, the economy will boom because more people will be spending. It's just something to think about, Now then, the Mirror leads with a headline saying "Back to the Future," and it is talking about the thousands of workers that are due to return to work today, actually, Wednesday, it says. And that's a big old deal, that's seeing the nation hold its breath as these people return to work. This is like construction workers, people that work outdoors and the such. Now, with England, I'm saying England because the devolved nations have not relaxed this lockdown yet. Even though it's the UK government of saying, we're going to ease down on the lockdown. The devolved governments of Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland have said, nah, we're not doing it. So when Boris Johnson talks about the UK, yes, the UK could do what he says, but the devolved nations are saying, guys, let's just not do it. Let's take it a little bit more seriously. I think, in all honesty, it's sensible. Let's see if Boris allows the idiots that live south of the border. Not all of you are idiots, by the way, because I'm just saying the people that like to have street parties, the people that like to have house parties, ones that go sunbathing in the park in the middle of the lockdown. Those idiots, the corona idiots, that's what I mean. The corona idiots south of the border. Let's see what happens with them. Nicola Sturgeon says a further 3 weeks of lockdown. That will purely allow for the time it takes for the virus to continue to keep a hold of infection. So if anybody goes around just now and infects other people, we will know in 2 weeks' time. And that is why the nation is holding its breath. The Daily Rag, my least favourite paper, the Daily Mail. I love to call it the Daily Rag. I'm probably giving it far too much attention. Anyway, it leads with you can move house, but you can't holiday abroad. I don't actually see the correlation of either of these things together, but obviously somebody within the Mail editorial section and team think that there is a correlation between holidays and buying houses. Maybe it's just the expense of them all. Anyway, the housing market in England opens again today to start a little sort of like push towards the big purchases that help to boost the economy. So basically, you can move house. You can move your house. You can go and buy a new house and move into that because, well, let's face it is safer. The house is empty, and if you're sensible, you're going to clean your house before you move in anyway. And you're not allowed to holiday abroad. So there's basically saying there's a good possibility that all your holidays that you've booked for the summer are going to be cancelled. I don't think there is any surprise there whatsoever. My father, my dad had already booked a holiday for himself with his good lady, with my good lady, myself, and all my children. And we're going to have to cancel, aren't we? Because we're supposed to go in June, which is like a month away. The kid's mum had already booked a holiday as well. I think she's got it rearranged though. Oh, excuse me, until September. Oh man, yeah, it's kind of late. I can see the sun coming up. I don't believe it. But yeah, that's kind of what this is. I get that. I think sensible people, understand that we're not going to be able to holiday abroad this year. I feel that it's obvious. To be perfectly honest, it's obvious, and the Daily Rag has no sensible correlation between those things. Wow, what a rubbish paper. Okay, the Times is leading with the housing market reopening again. I think I don't disagree with that. At the end of the day, if you're going to go and view a house, you should just go on your own, right? Don't take the family. Take lots of pictures. Go on WhatsApp and video phone the fam to show them around the house. Things like that. That kind of is the sensible approach for me. I am not against. Oh God, yeah, the sun's definitely coming up. Oh dear. I need to do this at like 11 o'clock at night as opposed to 4 in the morning. But the Times also says as well, it's advising teachers. Well, not the Times, the teachers' unions are advising teachers not to engage with the government regarding the reopening of schools presently. How do you feel about that? Any parents that are listening, how do you feel about your kids not going back to school until, say, September? Are any parents sort of sitting there going, how am I supposed to go back to work? If you are, have a word with yourself. You could be putting your kids in a virus cesspool that could jump onto the little blighters and bring it back into your house. Then you'll have something to truly be worried about. I don't think I would not. If Nicola said tomorrow we're going to send the schools back, I'd be like, nah, Nicola, nah. That's not happening with my bairns, you ken. It's not happening. I'd be right on the Snapchat to her saying, Nikki, hold on. Don't make a rash decision, girl. Alright, didn't do it. It's no worth it. It's no worth it. These kids are our future, and if we go and screw that up, well, that's just not going to be right at all. I just don't think. Oh, here we go, another yawn. I don't think we should send the schools back until September at the earliest, and look at the situation at the start of August and see if people have been sensible and there's no resurgence of the virus. Sensible decisions made by sensible people, unless you're in the Westminster administration. Rachel Riley has had enough of Eamon Jones, and this is specifically referring to Eamon Jones's little bit of a potentially naive rant about the 5G towers. It seems that Rachel doesn't like this and has said so, according to the Daily Star. Personally, I couldn't give two hoots. Look at the Metro. we will briefly get I'm giving 3 million to the economy for small businesses by Rishi. Good on you, buddy. That's a marvellous thing that you've done there, buddy. I think it's great. Give me a friggin' high five. Okay, totally. But what is this 40,000 people dead thing? Do you think maybe the government's been counting wrong? But I thought we could trust them. Are they not trustworthy? We elected them in to be trustworthy. I thought we could trust them with facts and figures. If that number's true, if 40,000 people plus have died in the UK of coronavirus, then somebody needs to say something. It can't just be like we got it wrong. We got it drastically wrong. Oh yeah, totally. This has triggered me, but I'm too yawny to get up and pace and shout and rant about it. I'm actually, no, I can feel it burning away. It's burning away quite nicely there just now. And let's just say, I swear to God, I truly hope it's wrong. Because Matt Hancock's career depends on it being wrong, let's face it. So that will be the papers done. And the only one that truly triggered me there was the 40,000 people dead and the government not counting them properly. What do you think of that? Do you think that the government are counting the deaths properly? Drop comments in here because I'll pick them up. I should actually be live in the chat window anyway, discussing these points with you. But I don't understand how a government, they're supposed to be managers of civilization. The people that look after what our hard-earned tax money goes on to spend. Wow. That's kind of scary, really, isn't it? If they can't even count the right amount of dead people. Okay, anyway, let's talk about my creative writing. God knows how many years ago, 14, almost 15 years ago, I started world building in my brain, and it wouldn't stop. And the world was influenced by everything from Rincewind on Discworld to Star Wars to Harry Potter to Seven Samurai, like Hero's Journey, Wizard of Oz, everything, even gore. I don't know if you know what gore is. Not gore as in like blood and guts, but gore, the books gore, the fantasy novels. They were amazing when I was a kid growing up reading them. I think there's like about 30 of them or something. I think I've only read 15. They got a bit silly after the 5th one, but they were so good silliness, such good silliness. Anyway, my story. It is called the Magical Kingdom of Skilland. That is like the head title, and then every sort of story or book after that has like a subtitle. So the first one is called The Magical Kingdom of Skilland, The Man Who Lost His Soul. Alright, and basically Skilland is a massive continent that floats in our skies on planet Earth. It's a magical floating continent that is just slightly out of phase with our reality. Okay, they can see us, we can't see them. And I always wanted this to go into popular culture. So if you were flying in a plane and the captain said, "Ladies and gentlemen, can you please fasten your seatbelts because we are going to experience turbulence as we pass through Skilland." I always thought that, I want to write that into the books in a prologue. I've not got it in yet there, but I think it would be an interesting prologue to think that aeroplanes from our civilization could interact with the marginally out of phase Skilland, and that was the true reason for turbulence. Anyway, I wanted to read you guys the prologue for the first book, the one about the man who loses his soul. Alright, it doesn't have the soul de-rendering sort of thing going on in this. It just introduces 3 of the characters that are in most of the stories. I'm not giving anything away. Anyway, I pre-recorded this, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't sound as great as the app I'm using, but I needed to put it into an app where I could actually read the manuscript as well. So here we go. This is Mojax Happy reads. The morning sky was a cool blue with only a spattering of clouds. The sun, not even halfway to noon, galvanized the great Ember Mountains in the distance with its beautiful golden rays. Looking down from the sky, Sabina, the red dragon, searched for her prey. She had played this game many times before, and she was good at it. Search for the movement, let them know you are here, chase them down, terrifying them with your downdraft of your wings, perhaps a breathy fireball, and then, when they were exhausted, take them. A game that she enjoyed very much. Sometimes she watched her prey for hours, allowing them to go about their business, giving that sense of security that all humans take for granted. This too was part of her most valued game. She was unmistakable. Her body 4 horses in length, lean and muscular, with powerful wings that were 4 times the size of her body. All the perfect 4s, all in perfect proportion. Slender and strong, and a tail that would stretch from her head to her body's end if laid out. She was not a large dragon like the black dragons of Nirska, but a fast-moving mid-sized beast that flew swiftly with agility and an acrobatic sense. Her eyes, if you had time to look into them, would reflect the wisdom she'd accumulated from all the years she had lived. And there it was, the movement in her peripheral vision. 2 riders, both riding upon Lizors. This would be more fun than chasing down men on horses, she thought. The Lizors was a reptilian-like horse, a hybrid with dragon's blood running through their veins. They came in many colours, with delicate scales that replicated themselves very quickly if lost through injury or attack. Most Lizors stood taller than the tallest man in height, their heads shaped like that of a horse, but with no ears, dragon's eyes, and a serpent's tongue. These beasts were mistaken for dragons for many years due to the flames that licked the sides of their mouths as they galloped at speed. Without wings, so no way of flying, like a true dragon, a Lizors would still outrun most creatures in the world. Intelligent, and also having the ability to communicate amongst themselves as a race of magical creatures, a Lizors, as a mount, was a true prize. Only certain magically disciplined people could ride upon the Lizors, and only with the permission of the Lizors themselves. If the beast was respected by the rider, the mount in turn would allow them to bond spiritually and be attached to them for the rest of their life. When this happened, the bond between rider and Lizors was a unique one. The rider would be able to communicate through empathy and feelings with his mount. There would be a feeling, and a single word would come into his mind. Sometimes a beautiful word, sometimes a terrifying word, but a single word nonetheless. Sabina also knew that the Lizors could at any moment panic and enter into the realm of light, where she would never catch them. If a Lizors ran in the light, you would not see them again until they stopped and returned to a non-magical pace of travel. This was known as light running. Very few creatures could do this naturally. Lizorses were one, and the great boar of the eastern forests was another, and both would only do so in a state of panic or self-preservation. Sabina stalked her quarry high above in the clouds. Her telescopic vision allowed her to zoom in on the riders. There were two of them, one dressed in the earthy-coloured riding robes of a defender of the faith, the other garbed in the martial cloth of a protector. Even more sport, she thought. The most magically disciplined warriors in Skilland were the defenders of the faith. Not defending a faith as in a religious order as such, but defending the absolute faith in themselves and their own abilities to accomplish and succeed at anything they set their highly attuned magical focus upon. A defender of the faith was a warrior of justice and honour and served the kingdom of Skilland, faithfully ensuring a balance of magic was always maintained. They were a power unto themselves, but still took direction from the imperial palace and the court of the empress, but most of the time they were left alone to follow their own agenda, an agenda which was always an extension of their loyalty to the land and to ensure that the balance was always maintained. Sabina knew that this man and his protector companion that she was stalking through the skies would be a challenge to run down. She took her time, waiting until the road ahead of the riders was twisted and turned and through brush and rocks, so they could not run in straight and enter into their light-running state. She folded back her wings and dived silently towards them. The two riders walked their lizors side by side. They kept an even and equal pace. One rider was in full riding gear of the defenders of the faith, dark brown leather boots up to his knees, tight riding trousers with matching leather tunic overlaid with a large dark green robe that had been made for practicality and a life in the field. It covered more than half the beast that he rode upon, almost decorating and shielding his mount from the elements. The rider himself served 1,000-pace stare that only a seasoned warrior carried. His green eyes narrowed, always searching for possible danger and confrontation. The awareness of his environment had always seen him through many a dire situation. A weathered face from the years he'd spent patrolling Skilland's more dangerous provinces, but a kind and spiritual smile always came from this man. This was Captain Moses Vestian Bain, Skilland's most respected captain within the Defenders. In fact, the leader of the 13 regiments that made up the order. His companion was a much younger rider, but equally impressive. He too wore similar garb to his senior, except the colours were different. This rider's robes were the different shades of the colours of the Protectors. The Protectors were the officer class of knights within the martial armies of Skilland. The more senior within the Protectors leading the regiments of the regular army and divisions of Protectors themselves. Some were magical warriors who trained hard to become defenders, but most were non-magical, but carried a fierce, fighting prowess nonetheless. They had been upon their lizors for about 5 hours, patrolling the roads around Captain Vestian's temple fortress. Each of the 13 captains within the Defenders led from their own temple fortress, each responsible for a specific geographic location within Skilland. The captain had many other defenders under his leadership, as well as other protectors, regular squires, men-at-arms and sky sailors piloting his fleet of airships based at his temple. Captain Moses, seriously respected and loved by his men. He always led by example. He was honest to them, and without question listened to those that gathered under his leadership. His opinion was that he may not always be right about something, but his decision was always the final one. "Paxton," Captain Moses said to the young rider beside him, "can you feel the tremors in the air?" "No, Captain," replied the young warrior. Wait, wait, I can now. Is that her?" "Yes. Get ready, Captain Moses," proclaimed quietly. Both riders stopped and turned their mounts to face the direction they had travelled. Out of the sky, they could see a fast-moving object, slender and lithe. As it came closer, it was unmistakably a dragon. Not just any dragon, but Sabina, the red dragon. Like an arrow from the strongest bow, she flew down through the sky, and at around 1,000 paces from the men, opened up her wings and came to a standstill in mid-air. With a roar that caused the Lizors to rear up, she released a fireball from her mouth, tearing through the air. It exploded just 10 paces in front of the riders. "Now!" cried Captain Moses. Both riders galloped off at the fastest pace their mounts would carry them, faster than any horse could manage, but they still could not go fast enough. Sabina reared up with several beats of her massive wings, and she was moving again, at pace, releasing fireballs either side of the riders as she burned the ground all around them. The Lizors found themselves jumping over the explosions as they ran, turning left and right through the twisted road that lay ahead. "There it is, Captain, the straight," cried Paxton. "Dig your heels in and go, Paxton," shouted the captain. The Lizors tucked their heads down. The riders hugged down to become part of the Lizors and put their faith in the beasts that they rode. More fireballs, more explosions. The Lizors exploded into a pace that no man could control. Sabina kept up with them easily, though. She enjoyed this game, teasing her prey with fire and screams. Captain Moses felt his mount yearning to run within the light. "Not yet, my friend. Wait for it." Captain Moses, I can feel it. Oh my, whoa!" Paxton cried. He vanished into a swirling, translucent mists of purples and silvers. As soon as this happened, Captain Moses released his mount to do the same. Both mounts were light running, and all that Sabina could see, even with her excellent dragon's vision, was the fast-moving blur along the road. The realm of light was misty and beautiful, but because the Lizors was running so fast in it, it was difficult to make out the surrounding obstacles and potential dangers. The rider could easily panic if he did not place his full trust in the beast he was riding. This is what bonded the light rider and Lizors, the complete, unmistakable trust they placed in one another. The Lizors would carry his rider through the realm of light at tremendous pace and safely back into the normal world again. The riders reappeared several thousand paces along the straight road, both slowing down, coming to an eventual stop. Paxton turned and looked at Captain Vestian with a face of both exhilaration and excited fear. "I did it, Captain. I ran in the light with my Lizors." Paxton beamed with pride and excitement. "Just wait, Paxton. Wait for that feeling," Moses said. Paxton's eyes widened, and he smiled. "Her name is Jensky. She is happy to be bonded with me." The young protector said with amazement, "I will serve you well, my friend." Paxton stroked his Lizors' neck as he thought this. He felt the warmth and love of acceptance from Jensky. Out of the skies, the red dragon swooped down, expelling another fireball, but this time it was not aimed at the riders or at their mounts. This time it exploded high above them in a display of reds and golds, not unlike the fireworks used in celebration at the imperial city. "Sabina approves," said Captain Moses with a smile. "Ooh, Sabina the dragon is a goodie. That is amazing. She was just there to help Paxton bond with his Lizors, to put the fear of red dragons into that beastie. Amazing. Wonder what happens next. Well, maybe you will find out. Maybe I will pull the chapters together and stick it on Amazon as a book. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it might be a good idea to do that, actually. I think that would be very interesting to do that. But there you go. Anyway, I'm looking out the window and it's getting kind of late stroke early. Yes, looking out the weather window without looking at the weather, you can see that the sun is coming up. That's a live picture I took about 10 seconds ago and just threw it on here just now. I'm looking at it now and the sun's come up even more now. So I think that I should put the outro on, save this up, get it loaded up and get some sleep, because I would like to watch this video in completion with you guys. Listen, if you have persevered to the end of this video, thank you very much. I will try to do this earlier so I'm not sleepy or yawning through the content creation. I will be on tonight at around about 10ish on Instagram Live just to chat with you guys. I might find some interesting things to discuss, and if anybody wants to jump on Instagram and say hello to the world, give me your comments and things, you can do so in the chat, or you can do so by joining the stream as well, which is dead easy to do. Okay, listen, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the book and my new way of doing the papers. It's not as ranty. I miss making coffee the Rab way, and I miss doing the weather window, but that will all return. Don't worry. Thanks for being patient, and thanks for just being you. Take care and be safe.
I hope you've been enjoying Mojax Happy's Radio Apocalypse.